Okay, imagine this for a second. You're out hiking, maybe somewhere in the Badlands, right?
Yeah.
It's sunny, you've got your gear, and then thwack, your boot or maybe your hammer hits something solid. And suddenly you realize you're not just kicking rocks. You're looking at bone, like 66 million-year-old bone. That feeling, that's what we're talking about today, that amazing connection to the past right here
Hmm.
in South Dakota. So today we're doing a deep dive into South Dakota's official state fossil, the awesome Triceratops horridus. And really it's about more than just old skeletons. It's about what these finds tell us about our state, our history, and yeah, even our community here in Sioux Falls.
Absolutely. We've done our homework, look at the research, and drawn on some personal experience too. Our goal today is basically to give you the highlights, the really important stuff about this incredible dinosaur. You'll get a kind of shortcut to understanding its science, sure, but also its cultural side, why it matters to us now.
And it really feels like the perfect choice for South Dakota, doesn't it? It became the official state fossil back in 1988. Before that, it was the cycad.
That's right, the cycad. Which is interesting, but Triceratops, that just feels right, especially with all the amazing fossils coming out of the Hell Creek Formation in western South Dakota. It's world famous, that area.
Totally iconic. So paint us a picture.
Yeah.
How big was a Triceratops?
Oh, massive. Genuinely giant creatures. They were roaming around in the late Cretaceous, so think about 68 million years ago. We're talking like up to 30 feet long. Weight-wise, maybe 10,000 pounds, like a big truck.
Wow.
And, of course, you've got the key features, those three horns right on its face and that huge frill at the back of its skull, just unmistakable.
And those horns and frill, they weren't just for looks, I'm guessing. Especially with T-Rex hanging around.
Definitely not just for show.
Yeah.
Yeah, ideal defenses against predators like T-Rex, for sure.
Yeah.
That frill could protect its neck, but, Triceratops literally means three-horned face, so those features probably did double duty. Social stuff, maybe?
Like showing off.
Yeah.
Or maybe fighting each other.
Exactly. Displaying dominance, maybe some ritual sparring between males, that kind of thing. We see similar things in animals today. And their diet is pretty interesting, too. They had this powerful beak, almost like a parrot's, but way stronger.
For grabbing plants.
Yeah, and then rows of grinding teeth further back. Perfect for processing really tough, fibrous vegetation. They were basically heavy-duty lawnmowers of the Cretaceous. And speaking of the Hell Creek Formation, again, the number of fossils there is just staggering. It's got the highest abundance of fossils anywhere, really.
Okay, highest abundance. What does that mean in practical terms? Like, how common was Triceratops compared to other dinosaurs there?
It's pretty incredible. Triceratops is the most common dinosaur found in Hell Creek. We're talking roughly 40% of all the dinosaur fossils uncovered.
40%, that's huge.
It really is. Compare that to, say, T-Rex, which is around 24%, or the duck-billed Montosaurus at about 20%. So finding Triceratops fossils isn't just common. It tells us they were likely a cornerstone species in that ecosystem. Dominant, like the bisons were on the plains much, much later.
That really puts it in perspective. And finding them here in South Dakota, that history goes back a ways, right? It wasn't just recent discoveries.
No, not at all. The very first sort of tentative finds, ones that might have been Triceratops, were actually recorded back in 1927 up in Harding County.
And since then, we've had some amazing local examples pop up. I'm thinking of Garth, that skull they have up in Lemmon.
Yeah, Garth is a great example, found near Lemmon, and you can see it at the Grand River Museum. It really highlights those regional finds.
And it's still happening. Just a few years ago, 2019, 2020, wasn't there a massive skull found in the Badlands?
That's right. A huge one, something like 3,000 pounds, again, from the Hell Creek Formation. It just keeps giving. These finds really do make history feel, well, very present, don't they?
Absolutely. And if you want to actually see these incredible creatures, South Dakota has some great places to go.
Definitely. The Museum of Geology, that's at the School of Mines in Rapid City, they have a fantastic mounted Triceratops skeleton. Seeing the full scale like that is just...
It really gives you a sense of their size.
And then there's the Journey Museum, also in Rapid City. They've got some really cool interactive exhibits. You can learn about the whole prehistoric story of the Black Hills, the geology, the paleontology. It's very engaging.
Yeah, really hands-on. And we mentioned the Grand River Museum in Lemmon with Garth, right? They have other local fossils, too.
Right. And these places often have great educational programs, big tents for kids, hands-on activities. It's a fantastic way for everyone, kids and adults, to really dig into our state's prehistory.
There's just something about dinosaurs, isn't there? It gets people excited.
It really does. And beyond the excitement, this kind of paleontology education, it builds local pride, you know? It connects our communities today to these incredibly ancient roots. It shows how this deep, deep past is actually part of our identity now.
Speaking of major finds and identity,
Yeah.
we have to talk about Big John. That discovery was a huge story.
Oh, yeah, Big John. Found in 2014 near Mud Butte, it's officially the largest Triceratops skeleton ever discovered.
Largest ever. And it was pretty complete too, wasn't it?
Remarkably complete, about 60% complete, which is amazing for a dinosaur that size. They finished excavating it by August 2015, just an incredible specimen.
But the story didn't end there. What happened next really made waves.
In 2021, Big John went up for auction, and it sold for, get this, 6.6 million euros.
Whoa. Okay, 6.6 million euros. That's the most expensive Triceratops ever sold.
By far. And that sale, understandably, kicked off a pretty significant debate.
I bet. What were the main points of that discussion? I mean, a fossil selling for that much money.
Well, it really brought up fundamental questions about fossil ownership. You know, who do these incredibly rare and important specimens belong to? On one hand, scientists often argue that fossils like Big John are part of our shared global heritage. They hold immense scientific value for research, education, public display. There's a concern that when they go into private hands, that access can be restricted.
Right, so the science community might lose out on studying it.
Potentially, yeah. Or at least access becomes more complicated. The argument is often that these things ideally belong in public institutions, like museums, where they can be studied and seen by everyone.
Okay, that makes sense. But what's the argument from the other side? For the private sale?
Well, there are a few angles. Landowners, often private ranchers in places like South Dakota, have rights to what's found on their property. Commercial paleontologists invest a lot of time, effort, and money into finding and excavating these fossils. Some argue that the possibility of a significant sale actually drives discovery. Private funding might uncover fossils that museums simply don't have the budget to go after. And the market assigns a clear value, which could, arguably, encourage more careful excavation and preservation, rather than letting fossils erode away.
So it's a balance, or maybe a tension, between scientific access, public heritage, and private property rights or economic incentives.
Exactly. It's a complex issue with valid points on both sides. Big John really put a spotlight on that whole debate. How do we best manage these incredible pieces of natural history? So when you look at the whole picture, choosing Triceratops horridus as the state fossil, it really means more than just, hey, we found cool dinosaur bones here.
Yeah, it feels deeper than that.
It absolutely is. It's a recognition of South Dakota's amazing geological history, that sense of wonder that comes with scientific discovery, and like we said, how these ancient stories become woven into who we are today, right here on the plains.
Yeah, from seeing these huge skeletons in museums, maybe even getting your hands dirty at a dig site, to thinking about the big questions raised by finds like Big John. This three-horned giant is definitely part of our story. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? What else is still out there, buried under our feet? What amazing piece of history might you stumble across someday in South Dakota? Well, that's our deep dive for today. Thanks so much for joining us on this journey of, well, fun, education, and just building our community connection here in wonderful Sioux Falls.
And hey, don't forget, you can always check us out on social media or find more info on our website, yourseasonedagent.com. We'd love to connect with you there.